Hi, everyone. I'm Dylan Baker. I lead the BI and analytics team at British startup Growth Street. I've been a Looker user for about 3 years across 3 different businesses, but first-time attendee at Join. Today, we're going to be talking about a tool called Looker Access that we've built on top of Looker's platform and API. We're going to talk about why we built the tool, what exactly it does, and what the next steps are for it, particularly how you can use it and how you can get involved in its development. So first, a bit about Growth Street. We provide overdraft-like credit facilities to small businesses in the UK. Through a peer-to-peer exchange, we facilitate loans between about £50,000 and £2 million. Borrowers dip in and out of their facility and only get charged when they use it. When I joined Growth Street last May, scheduled Python scripts pulled data out of various data sources and dumped it into Google Sheets. The data was pre-aggregated and really only served a few use cases across the business. It also wasn't going to be scalable and didn't give us access to the data that we needed. So we moved to a more traditional BI setup. Third-party ETL tools, Redshift, dbt for our data modeling, and Looker as our BI tool. We went from no one having access to the right data to everyone being able to explore data and answer their own questions. Now, data democratization was great, but as a financially regulated business, it left us with a small problem. Who had access to what data and when? Looker didn't give us this information, and when we couldn't find a good solution, we decided to build it ourselves. So what we built is a tool called Looker Access. Looker Access is a command line tool to manage Looker security settings. It's built in Python, leverages the Looker API, will soon be open source, and takes inspiration from tools like PG Bedrock. What Looker Access does is allow you to configure all of your settings, your model sets, permission sets, roles, and groups, all in an editable text file, allowing you to version control those changes if you wanted to. Practically speaking, it looks something like this. Looker Access requires a YAML file to configure your settings. So when you first use the tool, you'll run the setup command, and it'll pull all of your configurations from your Looker instance and set up your config file. Now, we used YAML for a few reasons. The ability to be read by humans was really important to us. It's really easy to parse with Python. And another tool in our workflow, dbt, uses YAML, so it was really familiar to us. Once you've got your config file, you can make any changes you want. You can create, amend, or delete any role, permission set, model set, or group. And once you're ready, the run command will replicate the configuration from your file in your Looker instance. First, Looker Access will make sure that your configuration is complete, ensuring that you're not assigning any groups, model sets, or permission sets that don't exist to any roles. It'll then make API calls to your Looker instance, replicating any changes that you've made in your file. Currently, if an object that does exist in your Looker instance isn't present in your file, it'll delete it. However, in the case you make any mistakes, before every run, a snapshot of your Looker configuration is saved, so you can easily revert changes if you need to. Looker Access, if you wanted to, you could run locally. It's a really easy way to make bulk changes to your Looker instance. However, for us, we needed to ensure that every change was version controlled in Git. And so as a result, Looker Access only runs as part of our continuous deployment pipeline in GitLab. As part of our CD setup, we know that the only changes that happen in Looker to our settings are the ones that are on the master branch of our GitHub repo. So in order to make this work, there's only one person in the whole organization that could make these changes manually in Looker. As you can see, Looker Access differs from making changes in the Looker UI in a couple of ways. You've got an audit trail of your changes if you want them. It keeps your configuration as text, which is really easy to make changes to. It allows for bulk changes, but it does require some technical knowledge that the UI doesn't. As I mentioned earlier, Looker Access takes a huge amount of inspiration from a tool called PG Bedrock, which effectively does the exact same thing for Postgres databases. And if any of you manage a Postgres database, I'd highly recommend having a look at it. It's very, very useful. So what's next? We want to implement a few flags in the tool. We want to implement dry runs so you can verify changes ahead of time. No delete in case you don't want to delete settings that are missing in your file. And revert, which would automatically rerun the command on your most recent history file. And finally, we plan to make Looker Access open source very soon. We want to do this for a few reasons. We're not so great at Python. It's not our primary language, and we'd like others to contribute. We want to promote configuration as code within analytics. We're big users of Terraform at Growth Street. And we want to promote more open source development on top of Looker. If you want to know more, follow me or Growth Street on Twitter or GitHub, or drop me an email and be asked to keep up to date. Thank you very much.